May 2025, Indore, India. It was an extraordinary time to be alive in the Raghuvanshi household. The youngest of the charming three boys of the household, Raja, was about to get married to an unbelievably beautiful bride, Sonam. Every member of the household could breathe the positive and fresh energy of the marriage, with the parents, siblings, and children of the house being extremely eager to welcome their new bride to the household. This was an arranged marriage, a very common state of affairs in India, where arranged marriages are the norm. The boy, Raja, was a 29-year-old local businessman who was a part of the family's transportation business, and the girl, Sonam, was a 25-year-old manager at her family's plywood business. Nonetheless, the excitement of the people of this household was off the charts. All the traditional affairs of a big, fat Indian wedding were completed, with festivities like the Sangeet, the Shagan, the Haldi ceremony, and of course, the wedding on the 11th of May. From a distance, this looked like a happily married couple. Two good-looking, successful, and ambitious human beings who had gotten together to spend their lives together. This, however, was far from the horror that was about to expose itself. Just after a week of their marriage, they left for their honeymoon to the beautiful and evergreen Meghalaya in northeast India. Meghalaya is often described as one of the most beautiful, culturally rich, and diverse places on earth. In India, it is a popular spot for couples to spend their honeymoons, as it has a profound local identity and is far away from civilization, making it an ideal place to celebrate the love between newly married people. Raja and Sonam left for Guwahati, a place in Meghalaya, from Indore on May 18th. They then traveled to Shillong, another place in Meghalaya, before going on to a local village by the name of Nongriat in East Khasi Hills of the state. The couple was having a great time, enjoying the local beauty, trying the food, and celebrating their newly married life. They had even rented a scooter during their time in Meghalaya to get the full experience of the Meghalayan life. Sonam and Raja would both call their families every day to describe everything they did that day, be it shopping, going to a new cafe, eating delicious food, and much more. And then, everything changed. You see, on May 23rd, 2025, Raja and his wife Sonam suddenly disappeared. They checked out of a homestay near Nongriat village in East Khasi Hills and were on their way to see the Wei Sawdong Falls. This was where the last confirmed communication between the couple and their families happened. After this point, both their phones went silent. This meant no calls, no messages, absolutely nothing. This unusual blackout was the first red flag for both families. The reason why only a day's worth of silence from the couple was spine-chilling to the family was because of their operant conditioning. Raja and Sonam texted and called regularly, making a reinforcement loop for their families. Since their children were away by themselves, an inherent sense of worry already existed for the two families back home, and so every text or call felt like a reward. Over the 4 days, the families became conditioned to expect updates from them, and when the cycle was broken, on the 23rd, it caused a spike in anxiety. This is often called the expectancy violation theory in psychology, and little did the families know, this threat signal was only going to be the beginning of the horror. A whole day of no calls or texts went by. The next day, their rented scooter was found abandoned and unattended in front of a cafe along a road by some locals, who then informed the local authorities about the scooter. The local police then traced it back to the rental shop, which confirmed that the scooter had indeed been rented by Sonam and Raja and had not been returned yet. Meanwhile, the families of the couple were increasingly getting worried about the safety of their kids, and so decided to press on the police to act. This marked the official opening of the case. Sonam and Raja were now officially a missing couple. The investigation of such cases usually begins with considering the wider context of the crime. Investigators, as they usually do, begin with a schema, which are mental templates built from prior cases. Cases of such sensitive nature usually get handled in one of two ways, heuristically and analytically. At the center of an investigation is the evidence, but the way that evidence is interpreted differs from detective to detective, and is a good indicator of how successful the detective is. The heuristic approach depends on intuition. This means the detective simply rejects evidence based on experience and inherent intuition instead of logic. A lot of experienced professionals in criminal psychology make use of the heuristic approach. While efficient, the analytical approach was the one that was used in the case of Sonam and Raja Raghuvanshi. Meghalaya, while a beautiful place, is a complicated land with a somewhat violent history. You see, in the 1990s through the early 2000s, Meghalaya saw an uprising of multiple liberation fronts who held violent demonstrations and committed crimes to spread their message of liberating the land of Meghalaya from the despicable India. These fronts were infamous for committing crimes such as extortion, kidnapping, and armed ambushes. In multiple cases, they killed tourists from other parts of India as a sign of their resistance to the Indian government and everything India stood for. While this has now significantly reduced, pockets of influence of these fronts can still be found in the state. This, therefore, became the first possibility for the investigators, that Raja and Sonam had been kidnapped by terrorists. The second possibility was that both of them had gotten into a terrible accident. You see, the Wei Sawdong Falls are a popular tourist destination, but due to poor maintenance of safety standards, falling into the gorge is a great possibility. This, unfortunately, was the worst possibility for their families back home in Indore, one that they probably weren't even thinking of due to their inherent defensive denial, as Sigmund Freud once talked about. However, logically speaking, this was still a very big possibility. The police then began the process of accumulating the evidence in this investigation. The police recovered CCTV camera footage from May 22nd, a day before the couple disappeared. In the footage, Sonam and Raja could be seen on their rented scooter, with Sonam wearing a white shirt and a raincoat. Upon questioning the locals, a tour guide by the name of Albert provided the most useful information to the police. He told them that the day they had gone missing, he had offered to be their guide, but they had chosen someone else. He also told the police that the couple was accompanied by 3 unknown men as they were walking in Nongriat. Albert also noted that the 3 men were walking in front and Sonam and Raja at their back, and that they were speaking Hindi, a language that Albert himself didn't know how to speak and so couldn't understand what was being said. These were very helpful clues to the investigators about what had happened. Using deductive reasoning, it was clear that the first possibility of the couple being kidnapped was much more likely, especially by these 3 unknown men. Their investigation, however, did not yet exclude the other more horrific possibility, but their investigation focused on finding more information about the 3 notorious men who could have had a hand to play in this murder. This is referred to as the Bayesian probability rule in criminal psychology, where the investigators adjust their investigation based on how likely a possibility is as compared to others. Unfortunately for them, their intuition was wrong. After almost 2 weeks of looking for information about these 3 men, the police made a chilling discovery on June 2nd, 2025. They found a badly decomposed dead body of a man in a deep gorge near Wei Sawdong Falls, the exact place that Raja and Sonam were going to visit together. With the body, they recovered a white shirt and a raincoat, just like the one that Sonam was seen wearing in the CCTV footage from the day before they had gone missing. The police called Raja's brother to identify whether the body was of Raja, which his brother confirmed through a tattoo on his arm. This was horrific news for the families back home, as all the signs pointed towards a horrible accident that the couple had gotten into. While Sonam's body hadn't yet been recovered, she was presumed to be a missing victim by the police of this tragedy. The case now was basically closed. All efforts were directed at finding Sonam's body, which could not have been far from the site where Raja's body was recovered. Sonam's family, in absolute pain, had to wait for the confirmation of their daughter's death. The recovery of her body would, at that point, have sealed the case. But that, unfortunately, did not happen.
Okay, check. चाहे हो तू ना तो कैसी हो दीवानी दिल किससे तू ना कर ले लूं रातें सारी, आंखों पे पट्टी, बिस्तर में गोली बारी, ऐसी महबूबा मुझको क्यों मिल ना पाती, ढूंढा ना मिला तो जैसा दुश्मन जल्दी कर दे तू मेरा, काट के राजा सुन ले सोने, मैं तुझको खोना चाहूं तुझ में किस तरह, बस मांगू love sex और तुक्का दे तू love sex और तुक्का चाहिए love sex और तुक्का दे तू love sex.